The board would be chaired for life by Trump and would start by addressing the Gaza conflict, then be expanded to deal with other conflicts, according to a copy of a letter and draft charter seen by Reuters. According to the document, member states are limited to 3-year terms unless they pay the billion-dollar fee. Joining us now is Aaron David Miller, former State Department Middle East advisor. Sir, thank you for being here.
Thanks for having me.
So this charter for Trump's Board of Peace talks about departing from approaches and institutions that have too often failed, seemingly referring to the United Nations. Your thoughts on that and whether this board could potentially accomplish anything different?
I mean, look, you have a lot of very important people who've been offered invitations, and the executive committee, 2 of them actually, one a founding committee, which will have 7 Americans and Tony Blair, and a second executive committee with respect to Gaza. Again, Blair will be on that as well. Look, the fundamental problem in Gaza has nothing to do with creating executive committees or boards of peace. It has to do with the reality that the current government of Israel's vision for what Gaza should look like and Hamas's vision are mutually irreconcilable. And right now, Gaza is divided into 2 parts. The Israelis control 53%, Hamas, which is research, and is deploying thousands of civil servants and police to basically ensconce its authority and legitimacy in that part of Gaza, shows no sign of decommissioning or demilitarizing. The reality is there are only 2 sets of relationships here that matter. Number one is Trump's relationship with Benjamin Netanyahu and whether or not he can move him on any of the issues related to Gaza, and the Qataris and the Turks and the Egyptians' capacity to pressure Hamas to demilitarize. You don't need a board of peace or any of that. What you need is serious leverage deployed by the president, who, frankly, we wouldn't be having this conversation if he hadn't come up with his 20-point plan. And he's uniquely well positioned to bring about leverage on Netanyahu. And again, the Qataris and the Turks, who have influence with Hamas, that has to lean on them as well. If none of that happens, then 2026 is going to be the year of a divided Gaza. And one last comment, if Prime Minister Carney is waiting for the humanitarian situation to somehow get better in Gaza before he agrees to join, he's going to be waiting for a very long time.
So if a board of peace cannot solve this conflict, is it wise for countries to pay $1 billion for a permanent position on this board?
I mean, it's hard to believe that any of these countries, unless they really have some preternatural need to cozy up to Donald Trump, is going to pay $1 billion to be on a board of peace whose consequence, resonance, and legitimacy is very open to question. That's just one of the anomalies, it seems to me, in the way the Trump administration is approaching this. Look, again, phase 1 resulted in more than 1,000 Palestinian prisoners released, 20 living hostages for the Israelis. And the war, as you and I have watched it since October 7, that war is over. But Gaza remains divided, dysfunctional, and sporadically violent. No board of peace is going to fix that. 4 countries, the United States, Qatar, Turkey, and Egypt, each of those countries playing a role in pressing the true decision makers here, the Prime Minister of Israel and the right-wing government over which he presides, and the external and internal leadership of Hamas, which might be open to both incentives and pressures from their 3 patrons. That's really, to simplify it, that's what we need.
Right. Unfortunately, we will have to leave it there, but very interesting insights. Aaron David Miller, former State Department Middle East advisor and senior fellow at the Carnegie Endowment for International Peace. Thank you very much, sir, for your time. It was great chatting with you.
And thanks for having me. Appreciate it.
Take care.